coffee in hand, swig of coffee for all the working stiffs, the 9 to 5ers, the clock punchers, everybody that is, and doing that, or have spent their time in the trenches, and hopefully you're living a good retirement now. Hopefully you can retire with the cost of living and everything keeps going up every time I check. Boy, man, that really does burn you, man. When you walk out of the grocery store with 3 bags of groceries and you're spending $100 and you're wondering what you just bought, and because you swore you bought everything on sale. But anyway, we have an array of assortment of firearms out. We're going to be talking about an interesting topic that I have heard over the years of being in firearms business for quite some time. Of course, I don't really do it anymore a whole lot. I still have people that are involved in it, but I don't. I still get kind of a help out in it a little bit here and there, but I'm not in it anymore. So I'm definitely not up to date with any of the new fango stuff that's going on. A lot of my knowledge is really rather dated, to be honest with you. But anyway, but yeah, I wanted to talk about something that is still relevant to this day that I believe in. I was told it back when I was first starting out, and it's kind of interesting because looking back, it's like how time has like progressed on. Even for me, it's like, wow, that's crazy. Thinking like I'm like looking back at 10, 15 years ago, and it's like, how did that happen? So anyway, we're going to go ahead and read your comments. As summer is abound out here in the ridiculously hot desert, we try to get the production of the show done pretty early. So your comments, it's very important if you're going to comment the first day out of the show. I know that not everybody can get to it, but it's only because we start production of the show pretty early. So if and of course, everybody loves the Saturday morning show. But even if you're commenting or you're tuned in after the fact, we still love the fact that you're here and you're commenting. But we like to read your comments and everything. So because the AC and staying inside, we also don't want the background noise of AC running in the background and stuff like that. So we try to get these things done pretty early in the morning when it's still relatively cool, if that is even a term out here. So. But anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and read your comments. Jeffrey Richardson, we always love hearing from you, Jeffrey. Thank you, sir, for a great show. Thumbs up. We appreciate that. Slim Fire, as always. Good Saturday morning, JW. I'm with you on the Colt 1911s. I have a newer Gold Cup. Always enjoy Colts. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Always enjoy Colts. I have used True Oil on guitars and mahogany bodies. It came out very nice. They make a True Oil gun stock finish. Also, but I've never tried it on gun stocks. Have a great weekend, Slim. I've actually had one experience with it. It was, to me, True Oil gun stock finish kind of reacted to me a lot like linseed oil, perhaps with some additives in it. So I would imagine nice, real even, thin coats and letting it set up, kind of like tung oil. Because I started using tung oil a lot. Thanks to Olaf over there, Deer Hollow Grips. So, all right, this one here is from Warren Ness, all the way from Australia. We love hearing from our friends in Australia. That is so awesome to hear from people all the way out there. Beautiful country, beautiful people, and the women. Oh, love Australian women. So here we go. Hi, Bat Jack. Thanks for sharing. Of the good old days of Blockbuster, and like either Friday or Saturday night, same thing happened here in Australia. In my family, our generation was great until the late 90s and early 2000s. Have a great weekend. Yeah, definitely. I'm from the VHS era, long before DVDs came on the scene, although I love physical media no matter what. But I still feel like those of us that pretty much grew up in the VHS era, that was really the last of the good days. That was really cool. I'm so very lucky and fortunate to have been part of that generation. Wouldn't have it any other way. I love I always look back and feel like, geez, I wish I could have experienced like the 60s, the 70s, the 50s, maybe just the cool stuff that was out and happening and everything. But, I think, even looking back, like for me, like even that era of the VHS days, and anybody that got to experience the video store rental times, I think once that closed down and that was it, you know. I'm sorry those of you that didn't get to see those days, because man, they were awesome. Those are rad days, man. Back when highlighter colors and that fluorescent colors and stuff was going, and you had MC Hammer and all that. So, all right. Let's go to Joe P, my man Joe P. Swig of coffee for Joe. Good morning, JW. Thanks for the tip on using shellac. You're very welcome. Shellac is really a cool product that I messed around with quite a bit, and trying to get things rolling with it. And of course, I shared like last week on the additives that you can do to it. And always, again, I can't stress this enough. Don't just go ahead and use your concoctions on your precious grips right away, or any of the precious pieces that you're messing with right away. Do something with it on something else first. I said it as, not jokingly, I literally shellacked the top of my Dylan primer tray just because I wanted to make sure what it looked like and what color it was going to turn out first before I did anything, But that's what we do. Anything we do, we discover, or things that we know of that we want to share here on the channel on the Saturday morning, Collectors Radio. That's what we do. Love doing that kind of stuff. Somebody had, and forgive me, I forgot who it was, but they shared with us Renaissance wax. Really cool stuff. We'll always have that in my inventory of things that I like, the Renaissance wax. Once somebody asked me about filling in the stampings on your firearms. One of the great things that works with that is you can get modeling paint. I usually use gold or silver. Modeling paint or fingernail polish is the best. Brush it in there, let it set up. Take like I use a cleaning patch, and like I say, you're using fingernail polish. Buy a thing of fingernail polish remover while you're at it. By the way, hot tip on the fingernail polish, if you're using that for filling in lettering, do not buy the gel stuff. You got to buy the old school harsh chemical stuff. Buy a thing of the fingernail polish remover thing, and then take a patch, like a gun cleaning patch, wrap it around, soak it a little bit in the solution, not a whole lot, and wrap it around like you could use like a shell casing from a large caliber if you got one, or just something a little oversized here, but something round like this, and wrap it over and use that to kind of go like this over it. So you're kind of removing the excess and not digging down into the stampings and removing what you wanted to leave behind. So there you have that if you want to do stuff like that. So every now and then I do it to stuff, but I don't do it to a whole lot of things, just certain things that I think would need a little bit of extra class to it. So anyway, there it is. I've never used it before on wood projects, but I ordered some blonde shellac and brown shoe dye from Amazon to play with. Love having a new woodworking project to try. Yeah, awesome. Good luck with it. Have good fun with it. Remember this, Joe. I mean, literally, a little bit of the dye goes a long way. It darkens it up and changes the color dramatically. A couple drops will do you. A dab will do you. But because I found out, the first time I messed with it, trying to do some stuff, I added a lot of coloring in it, and I was like, whoa, this stuff really came out like almost like like dark, a little bit more brighter than I wanted it to. If you're just trying to give it a little bit of a tone, just a few drops. If you really want to color it at that color, then go ahead and add a little bit more, but no more than just enough to just alter it slightly. You can always add, you can't remove it. I haven't figured out how to remove the color yet. All right, Jeffrey Richardson, another one. Good morning. Sip of coffee. Yes. Pete says, good, great info and reflections. Been watching your vids for a while. I have met you last week. You were going over reloading equipment with me. I thought you looked familiar. Keep up the good content. Oh, I guess I did meet one of you. We didn't know it. So, Squiblift. All right. Good to hear from you, Squiblift. Squiblift, and he's been doing some really cool stuff over there. I love his kind of I guess a stovetop reviews in a sense, but good stuff out there. Really great, another great channel out there. Um, if you know what size drill bit, what size drill bit it is, you can buy drill blanks. I did not know that, so that's cool. More sharing of information. Did not know you could buy drill bit blanks, which don't have any of the cutting surfaces, but they are made out of same hardened steel. Yeah. So that's why I've always in my shop back in when I was always constantly working with stuff. I always saved all worn out drill bits because I could just use the ends for it. Or like he says, you can buy actual blanks rather than going out and buying a whole drill bit. But I always just used whatever was worn out or broken anyway. So, but that's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, Crazy Scotsman. Finishes, even tarnished ones, can be recreated. Doesn't necessarily mean yours will be cheap. The Dillon 650 is such a picky machine. It took me a long time to get it running well. Various upgrades and just tweaking here and there. Yep, Car Arms bought out Auto Ordnance, and Car Arms has some of the worst customer service I've ever experienced, even as a dealer at the time. Wow, good information to be put out there. That's sad to hear. Always sad to hear when a company has poor customer service. To me, it is not necessarily about being cheap. It is about doing it yourself and having pride in the fact that you did it and came out with how you wanted it. Yeah, that's good points. It's not necessarily always about being cheap. It's just about something that gets me. It's like, I'm like, how do I do that? Can I do that? I'm just like that person that thinks all the time. I'm like, is that something I can recreate? Is that something I can do or fabricate myself? So that's always something. And of course, like when you're like me, I'm really driven and influenced by films. So it just makes me go, how do I do that? Or how can I'm looking at the movie or looking at that certain firearm in the movie that I'm like, what is that? How did they do that? Why did they do that? But it's done that way. Can I do that myself? So anyway, there's that. Also, yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, sometimes trying to recreate something that was flawed or like poorly put together from back in the day or something like that, you could actually try to recreate that, which is some stuff that I've actually attempted to do and have been moderately successful with it too. So that's always, always good times, always fun to check things out like that and everything. But yeah, that's a shame to hear the Auto Ordnance or, they had some of the worst customer service. I had some pretty bad dealings with Inland Manufacturing, the new company that just kind of bought the name. Like I said, I don't know if that's going hand in hand with, I don't know if they secretly are Arms or whatever. I don't know. But didn't have exactly a great customer service with them. But I'm glad that they exist. I'm glad that they're doing what they're doing with the, with the M1 carbine and the 1911. I really, that's really cool that they're doing it. Although I think that, companies like TSOS that do offer a pretty good reproduction of World War II 1911 might put a little bit of hurt on them because I think those are still viable you can search around them for under the 5 mark. So I think they're still out there and they have really cool markings on them as well. But anyway, you know what? I mean, it's just a shame when some of the companies like that, Davidson's saying that it's a lifetime replacement guarantee and all that. But I don't know anybody. I mean, I don't know how many people have actually tried to get a replacement from them, but it wasn't easy on my part on a few times that I've attempted it with them. Back in the business days when I was involved in that, it was not easy. It was kind of rather like pulling teeth from a crocodile, to be honest with you. So it wasn't as simple as they make it sound. Not trying to bash the company. I'm just being honest as a consumer, as somebody that spent my hard-earned money on things. So, okay. One of the topics, the reason why I brought out this array of firearms and really just run-of-the-mill kind of stuff, not necessarily. I mean, for the most part. So we brought out an whole military surplus style 1911, just because what it represents is just really plain Jane, bare bones, probably worn out to hell example. That's the reason why it's making an appearance here. But an old, just an old Glock 17. This is a fairly old one. It doesn't even have a light rail. This is like a Gen 2, I think. Yeah, Generation 2, no finger grooves before all that. That kind of deal. My Ronin, my Springfield Armory Ronin, my favorite 1911 blaster, really is a 9mm lightweight Commander by Springfield Armory. I'm not an optics person. I don't like the red dot myself. I know some people do. If you love it, great. Run with it. Don't walk. I just don't. I don't care for the optic thing. I like my iron sights. I like my basic iron sights as it can get, as long as I can see it, and I still can roll with it. This one's had a couple of little touches done to it. I actually had a friend of mine. He's a jeweler. I actually had him insert a gold rod and balled it on the end to make a golden front sight. It removed the fiber optic and had him do the gold front sight. He did a really bang up job on that, and that, to be honest with you, really comes out great. This is just a Brenda 92 FS, real simple. And so why these are out here is this, and I'm sure you've heard the term, and actually Crazy Scotsman, you can chime in on this because you've been in the biz for a very long time, and I'm sure you've heard it. So looking forward to hearing what you have to say about this. But we've all heard the term, or not I guess it wouldn't be much of a term, but I think we've experienced it. But I'm going to tell you this. Okay, first off, starting out, I'm a terrible shooter. I don't shoot very well. I just enjoy it as a hobby. I go out there and punch paper. I mean, I guess I can hold my own with it. I'm okay, I'm also a steel plate shooter. That's where I've always started, and also I always kind of gravitate towards. So if I can hear the plate ring, I'm happy. That's it. I'm not trying to put bullet holes on top of bullet holes. I'm not trying to Robin Hood anything, because I physically can't. But this can. I just can't. The driver behind it cannot. The machine can do it. So that's what we're getting at. You cannot buy, like, this is an example. You just cannot, like, you can, like, somebody says, well, what kind of upgrades can I do to this thing to make it shoot, better or whatever like that. All the type of things, the upgrades, changing stuff out and all that kind of stuff. You know what? I mean, it's like this. Jerry Michalek can give me his revolver, his done-up revolver, and his belt rig and all that, even his hat. And guess what? I'm not going to be able to go out there and break world records like Jerry Michalek and win gold medals like he has. It just can't happen. Even though it's not those tools that make Jerry Michalek. Jerry Michalek, people like that, they just got it. I mean, there's some that are just they're just that's what they are. Not everybody is Humphrey Bogart and can walk across the silver screen and be like, damn, man, I'm Humphrey Bogart. I'm not going to be able to take Rob Latham's guns and go shoot like Rob Latham. It's just not going to happen. I can't take a single action army and go and shoot two balloons and make it sound like one shot like Bob Munden. It just can't happen because I'm not that talented. So it doesn't matter your equipment. That's why I brought this stuff out, because I can pretty much, I know that I shoot fairly well with this stuff, and it's run-of-the-mill stuff, really. I mean, this is anything, this is a bone stock 1911, worn-out barrel, horrible sights, no high-ride grip safety or anything like that on it, that whole deal. This is, and I've actually, even for the Glocks, and I'm not like a fanatic about them, but I do like the fact that they work, and of course they're kind of connected with a lot of films and stuff like that. And this one, being an older generation one, this has its original, the basic Glock sights, and I've actually kind of always favored those. Those are kind of my choice. I don't rock anything of the other ones. I just kind of stick with the bone stock stuff. And, this is about as really bone dry stock as it comes. I mean, this one has got no frills, no thrills, definitely, as if they ever really did. And then my 1911 here, we talked about that. But what I'm saying is the best thing that you could do to, you know, get the best upgrade or whatever thing you can do. Like I just picked this up. Okay, I want to, I want to do this. I want this thing to shoot really well and all that. You know what the best item you can buy for this thing? A case of ammo. Really. Uh, Go out and buy a case of ammo, maybe a few extra mags, so you're not spending a whole lot of time loading mags. And if you're doing that, definitely get a mag loader. I buy, I always have one of those with me. It just it cuts the time and just ease of loading and everything. Brought it orange or yellow so I can actually see it. Um, but yeah, case of ammunition and go out there and just pound that stuff, and just nonstop. Um, you know, that's it. That's the bottom line on that. Really, that's always been my best advice. Is instead of trying to uh, buy all kinds of changing this and changing that, and it's spending all this money on altering things. Buying a case of ammo. Even if you bought a really more of a higher end 1911, this is pretty much you're right in the this is that what is that the under the 1K kind of a price point, well under that. So even if you bought something really nice and expensive, something custom made, some of the really awesome stuff that my friends over there, Beretta USA, 9 millimeter USA, have been showing some of the really cool, like Les Bear and some of that stuff that they got out there that they've been showcasing, which is really cool stuff. Really nicely fine tuned, and you can appreciate that work of art. And don't get me wrong, not knocking the people that have those things or want those things or anything like that, because they're truly pieces of work of art. But those two guys, the father and the son, man, those Beretta Senior and Beretta Junior, young Brenda, they're shooters. They're good at it. They can shoot. They're obviously going out there and putting lead down range. So I don't think it doesn't matter. I think they can take it bone stock. They can grab any of these and outshoot me and definitely do really well with it. And them having something like a Les Bear or something, that just gives them that extra, just gives them that extra edge. But they already have it. Just because you can't inject yourself full of steroids and get a baseball bat and go do, go out there and Mark McGuire or something, or any of those guys. They were talented to begin with. I mean, they had something going far beyond any of the upgrades or whatever. So, by the way, I'm not knocking that. I thought that was the funnest baseballs ever been, to be honest with you, as a fan of WWF. Just going out there and seeing like just these hulked out guys patting things out there. So, anyway, we're getting a little too, I don't like, getting into these kind of too much into these conversations, but sometimes it's just like I just putting it out there that um, I shoot just as well with these things. I enjoy them. I don't need don't need to have something. I don't go changing all this, changing that, changing this, trying to chase accuracy per se. They're all very accurate. They're more accurate than I can ever be. So anyway, I just want to leave it with that. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here on the show. Do appreciate it. And Halloween is coming, so we're going to be talking a lot about different flicks and stuff coming out and everything. I'm really excited for that. And actually, the Nightmare, not the Nightmare on Elm Street. Actually, yeah, they did finally get a box set release of that. It looks like it sold out right away. The Steelbook box set, which had each individual film with its own cover art, looks like that sold out. I mean, by the time I even heard about it, it was sold out. I guess they're releasing also just the basic model with all the discs. Hopefully the discs are individualized in that one at least. But it's a 4K releasing. I still have yet to pick up a 4K player myself. When I do, I'll let you know if it's all that. I hope it is. It's expensive. Um, but look, I guess you got to have a TV to support it and all that. But we'll see.